Hello, my name is John Thiep, and I'll be going over The Industrial Room by France Windance Twine. So, a little bit about France Windance Twine. She is a professor of sociology and feminist studies at UC Santa Barbara. She was awarded countless grants from the National Science Foundation, and some of her other works include Girls with Guns, Outsourcing the Room, and she wrote and co-authored many more. Overview and main points of this article. Couples and women from the United States and Europe are traveling to India or other places to hire women to gestate and deliver babies at a very cheap rate. Gestational surrogacy is defined as industrial labor in this article. Um, the surrogacy is done by in vitro fertilization. And the main topic of this article is to answer the question: is it ethical? Is surrogacy ethical? Anyway, useful definitions to know. There are three main types of surrogacies outlined in this article. The first one is gestational surrogacy. I'll read you the definition off the books. A woman who gestates a fetus allows herself to be impregnated and carries the pregnancy to term, but has no genetic tie to the child she births. In English, it is women gestate someone else's genetic material. She has no relation to the baby, and she does not have custody. Traditional surrogates. The birth mother is both the gestational surrogate and the biological mother. She contributes the genetic material, the ovum. So again, this is the woman gestates her and someone else's genetic information, so she is the biological mother, but she does not have custody of the child. Lastly, intended mother. The woman who, either alone or with a male or female partner, commissions the pregnancy and enters into a commercial contract with another woman who agrees to be implanted with an embryo that consists of her ovum or a donated ovum. Again, this means a woman gestates someone else's genetic material. She does not have any relation to the child, but she does have custody of the child. Okay, on to quotes. First quote. I argue that gestational surrogacy is embedded in a transnational capitalist market that is structured by racial, ethnic, and class inequalities, and by competing nation-state regulatory regimes. Consequently, the same women who sell their reproductive labor and become reproductive service workers carrying out pregnancies to term under labor contracts may not be able to afford basic health care for themselves or their children once the labor contract expires. There is unequal access to assisted reproductive technologies, and in most countries, because the cost is prohibitive, and it is not state-funded, and therefore only elites and upper middle class can afford to purchase these services. Quote analysis. This quote basically says that surrogacy is only able to thrive in a capitalist market because of supply and demand. Here, supply and demand, I'm referring to the supply and demand of children, most notably children with the same genetic DNA as their parents. Also, sustained healthcare is not available for surrogates after they give up parental rights. However, healthcare is provided while they are in term. Lastly, surrogacy is only obtainable for elites and the upper middle class because money. This next quote is from this part of the article labeled "The Shift from Adoption to Assisted Reproduction." The quote is, innovation in biomedicine increased the chances that people with resources could use in vitro fertilization to reproduce a child that has a genetic link. This altered expectations. Now, fertile couples who could afford it could seek IVF rather than adoption. And then quote, analysis, surrogacy allows for a genetic link between the parents even though they themselves cannot have children. Also, adoption is less favorable for couples who want children but cannot make them. This quote is from Test Tube Babies to Gestational Surrogates. IVF has made it possible for same-sex lesbian and gay couples to have children biologically related to them. So this basically says that gay and lesbian couples can have children biologically related to them even though they themselves cannot make those children through a surrogate. This inherently affects adoption rates because instead most of these couples will adopt. Rather now they don't have to or they don't want to because they can make their own biological children through a surrogate. Next quote. This is from The Legacy of the Baby M Child. This case raised a number of issues involving surrogacy, contract law, parental rights, and ultimately led to the state of New Jersey banning commercial surrogacy. The judge granted custody to Mr. Stern but also allowed Mary Macbeth Whitehead to retain her marital rights and have her limited visitation privileges. Okay. So, I'll give you the background of this quote and the analysis of it. So, we'll be using first names because they have the same last name. Okay, so Mary gave birth with a genetic link, so she is the biological mother of baby M, and she had this baby with William's DNA. William and Mary are the biological parents of this baby. However, William is in a relationship with Sarah, and that's why they contracted Mary to be the surrogate for Sarah and William. They did sign a contract saying that Mary would give up the baby after the term ended, but she did not go. She went against that and did not give her the baby. She did not want to give her baby M, and she is not obligated to back then because she is the biological parent of baby M. This incident changed parental laws and led to the banning of surrogacy in New Jersey. However, it is legal now as of 2021. That was my last quote. My questions are: number 1, do you think it is ethical for any type of surrogacy to exist? And number 2, if you are unavailable to have a child of your own, would you turn to surrogacy? That was it. Thank you for watching.